Hey everybody, welcome back to Mint Out of the Box, the show that goes deep into the opening and collecting of action figures. Last week's episode, I shouted out to one of my favorite podcasts and two friends of mine, Championship on the Line podcast. And in the studio today, we have the hosts of that show, Rich and Alex. Thanks for joining me today. And not only are they here to talk about their podcast and talk about the world of MMA, professional wrestling, and boxing, that we actually had them bring some of the stuff from their personal collection that they wanted to open up and share with you guys today. But before we get started, we need to go back to last week's episode when I opened up the Jake the Snake Roberts and was excited about how Target had sent me a chase and a regular figure. I decided, hey, let's see if we could pull this off again. So we ordered two more from Target. And we got the box, and we'll show you what happened. I got the box earlier in the week, and I didn't want to wait till today to open it, so we recorded it for you, and here's how it looked. Hey everybody. In last episode, I opened up a Jake Roberts figure, and I told you the story about how I ordered two of them from Target.com, and I got one regular, one chase. And I know I probably hurt a lot of people by opening the chase figure, but I thought to myself, you know what? Let's see if it can happen again. So I thought I'd share it with you to see if we could pull this off twice. I have horrible luck with a lot of things, but let's just see if we can duplicate this again. Handy dandy bat knife. We're thinking about making that the catchphrase. I don't know. If you like the catchphrase, leave a comment down below in the box. The moment of truth. Open it up. Bam. But guess who won the pony? Two chase figures. So that's how that looked. What are the odds? Two chases and one. I can't play the lottery the rest of the year because I've spent all my luck there. So we're back with my two guests. Gentlemen, you guys are a lot younger than me. Full...
I'm sorry, it makes me laugh.
It's all right. Full disclosure, I met these guys because I was selling some of my figures and they came by and we struck up this friendship. Now, it's been a couple years.
Yep.
They told me they're starting a podcast and I told you they're one of the people that inspired me to start this show. Tell me about your guys' podcast. What made you decide to get into it? What does it cover?
Well, actually, it's kind of both ways. You inspired us to get back into collecting. Alex and I pretty much stopped with wrestling and focused on mixed martial arts. And as soon as we met you and offer up, you showed us your amazing collection and got us thinking we have to go back into wrestling and overall everything in mixed martial arts.
Hey, it kind of helped out too because you bought almost all my stuff from me.
Yeah, so we kind of inspired each other. And then after that, he had a podcast years ago.
Yeah, I had a podcast on Spreaker. It was called the Combat Talk Show. It was more for MMA. So I had a lot of guys like John Fitch was on it, Court McGee, and then I stopped doing it. I started doing it in high school, and then a few months ago he got me back into doing it. Yeah. So we started the Championship on the Line podcast, and it's going pretty good.
So who's some of the guests you've had on so far for the people out there?
So for Knockout, we do more MMA and boxing. So we had guys like Ray Mancini who was on the podcast, Devin Alexander, and then guys from the UFC, guys like Sam Alvey who was on the podcast. And then for Lucha Talk, we do more wrestling. So we had guys like Chris Harris from Ruckus Most Wanted that was on it. And then like ECW original C.W. Anderson was on it. And then we get a lot of local guys or prospects are coming up.
Excellent. Excellent. Hey, and for the record, we got a Chris Harris figure over there on the shelf. Just throwing it out there. But today, I had these guys bring in some of the stuff they wanted to open up, and I'm going to let them use the handy dandy Batman knife. And so we got a different variety of things here. You got a pop that's something that's kind of newer. The Eddie Guerrero is kind of newer. But you also have here one of the Jax figures. Jax, started making wrestling figures when there was a time where the Hasbro line died. There was nothing being made, and then Jax came out of nowhere. I have a pretty amazing story when it comes to the development of Jax and wrestling figures. It sounds kind of unbelievable. I'll tell it someday, but I won't get into it today. But after they lost the license to Mattel, they started doing these UFC figures, and we were commenting before the show, like they went deep with some of the people they made. They made people that you would be hard pressed to even knew they had a fighting career. And then we also have this Fairly Odd Parents. For some of you guys out there, they're a lot younger than me, because my son used to watch this show. He actually used to call his godmother his fairy godmother because of that show. So we're going to be opening these up today here in a second. So what made you guys want to bring this stuff over and open up?
We wanted to pretty much bring a variety. Obviously, we're big fans of mixed martial arts and wrestling, so we had to bring these two, including the new John Jones Funko Pop. And we have to bring something kind of opposite of what we like, but I grew up watching this as a child, so Fairly Odd Parents, it was. Sorry.
And see, and this goes back to what I told you guys in my opening episode. Sometimes you find things that are kind of beat up, that don't really look that great in the package still, but it's cool to have I love to open things up. I like to display them. I like to take a look at how they've evolved. Like I've told you, and I've pointed, and I've got some feedback, how I go, hey, look at this, and this, and then I don't show you this or that. But the evolution of action figures and the evolution of just wrestling figures in general, it's amazing. The one thing I'm starting to notice with figures is these weren't really designed to last forever. Because I've noticed on some of my baseball figures back here, they're starting to get real sticky because the paint's starting to kind of bleed and melt. If you see on one of my figures over here, you get the yellowing of the cards, the glue wears off and it's falling apart. Hopefully, a lot of the toy makers nowadays are taking the whole everyone holding on to things and keep them in the package, kind of taking that to heart and designing it a little bit better. But like I said, that's a story for another day. So why don't we get into opening some of this? So all right, well, with no further ado, start opening stuff up. Let's take a look at these things and talk about them.
So I got this Eddie probably like a couple weeks ago at Target, and we were trying to get this figure for a long time. We went and he ordered it from Target, and it never came.
Said it was shipped and it took about 2 months and never got a hold of it.
Somewhere there's someday I'll be buying that from a crackhead off of OfferUp, like the Macho Man figure I randomly bought.
And then it hurt more because it said, okay, we'll give you a refund and you can keep the figure. Like, how am I going to keep something that never was shipped? So I never got it.
I have a special fondness for Eddie because Eddie was a tag team partner of one of my favorite wrestlers, and the guy I've told you in videos before that I kind of modeled myself after was Art Barr. They were a big team in Mexico, and Los Gringos Locos. Mm-hmm. I famously have a picture of me with me and Conan wearing that. But it's a really nice looking figure. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the Mattel figures have come a long way with not just the belts, but the face. They're amazing. They're amazing figures, and like I said, when I met these guys, I had sold off most of my wrestling stuff, and since I've known them, I've kind of accumulated them again because, like I said, these Legends figures are just so detailed and look so well. But, that's the Eddie.
What do you think, your opinion on that, like the hand changes, you could change from head sculpts to hand?
Yeah, I talked about that with the Ultimate Warrior in the first episode. Like I said, it's sad that kids nowadays really don't play with toys. You see people like us out there buying all this stuff. Mm-hmm. The quality of matches and stuff you could have done, the play value you had with these as a kid would have been amazing. I had that big LJN wrestlers.
Yeah.
And I treated them like with kid gloves because I didn't want to mess them up, because those things, I see these things that look like they've been stored under a grave selling for $100. And I just look and go, wow, I really got screwed on my collection that I sold, because mine were immaculate. I even played with them, but they were immaculate. And I see some of what people are selling them for, but it goes back to the whole, what are you going to sell it for and what you're really going to get for it. A lot of times I had this theory that people put stuff on OfferUp. It's kind of like action figure porn. Hey, look what I got. Look what I got. They don't want, one guy asked me one time off of OfferUp, he goes, oh, do you have an Instagram page that you put your stuff on that you buy? I was like, no, I don't do that. That's weird.
But do you feel that it's kind of like the more this style of figures come out, it's appealing more for adult collectors? So you feel it's killing collecting? Because like everywhere we go, we see grown men in the aisles instead of children.
Yeah.
Well, the bottom line is it's for adults.
Yeah.
I mean, you ask a 10-year-old kid nowadays who Eddie Guerrero was, they're not going to know.
No.
And as we just discussed before the show, he was only alive a couple more years after you guys were actually born. But so no, I mean, I never see kids buying. It seems like I'll see the kids buying toys up until about maybe I'll see 5 or 6 year olds in there buying certain things, but it's all guys. And the thing is, these guys get this stuff and want to sell it to each other.
Yeah.
But most adults like me, it's like if I can't find it, I'm just not going to get it.
Exactly.
I mean, I have to really, really want it to go pay a secondary price. I'm not going to pay double. If this costs $20, I'm not going to pay $40 for it somewhere else. I'm just not going to. I mean, unless it's something like, hey, you know what? They broke this mold and they're not making it anymore.
Yeah.
Or like with the Owen Hart figure, they released the Blue Blazer figure right after, like it literally came out weeks after he died. So I knew that was going to get pulled and that was going to be hot. So I really wanted one, not just because he passed away. I just had this real big affinity for masked figures because there wasn't a whole lot of them, especially in the WWF at the time. But other than that, I won't do it. And it sucks because, as I talked about before, guys will be into this and then they find, like, I'll use AEW as an example. I have not found an AEW figure in the store since August when I found the first ones. I've not just walked in one day and go, oh wow, look, there's just one sitting here.
Exactly.
Hasn't happened. Well, now I don't care if I get them.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, I'll probably sell off the ones I got. Well, if someone's trying to make money off of it, and I look on OfferUp or eBay and see, oh, these guys are selling for $80 a piece, I'm gonna go there selling for 40 or selling for 30, just get my money back out of it.
Yeah.
And you're screwing up the secondary market. So you people that are hoarding them, you're not gonna make your money anyhow. So, so what else are we gonna jump into here?
We'll jump into the Fairly Odd Parents. This is pretty meaningful to me as a kid. Like I said, I was born in '94, so around 2001, I think this was released. But one thing that kind of gets me, what I was telling Alex before the show, this was from 2001, I believe 2008, the run of the show, and then they brought it back, and then it was canceled, I believe, a couple of times. But as you can see, it was released 2012, but there was no like throwback in the packaging, which kind of throws me off as a wrestling collector. I like the throwback, like something that says retro on it.
Yeah.
So that kind of kills it for me. But
And also, like, Nicktoons was a channel that they brought back, like, the old, cartoon shows.
Yeah. But other than that, like, the nostalgia's there for me. I like it overall.
Sad side note, there was a time in my life where Nickelodeon turned off at 5 in the afternoon because there wasn't enough programming. So this is what's cool about doing a show like this, is because I can get people that's kind of generational and get a perspective from them. I tell them, hey, there was a time where Nickelodeon turned off and we watched Lassie reruns, and some people are going, what the hell's a Lassie?
Or Full House or something like that.
No, they were old black and white TV shows
no.
like that were before my
I
time.
think the Andy Griffith show too.
Please don't injure yourself.
I don't know.
The fine producers and people here at Mint Out of the Box are not responsible for any injuries caused by the handy-dandy Batman knife.
Oh, there it goes. Finally it comes off.
And do you remember this?
Like it needs enough
Like
tape.
with the...
But yeah, he was like a sidekick. He had a superhero. You can't even like really.
The Crimson Chin,
Yeah,
right?
there you
yes, the Crimson Chin and
Clef Boy Wonder. There it goes.
yeah, because that was kind of similar to the SpongeBob that had the
Mermaid,
merman
yeah.
and
Barnacle Boy.
Barnacle Boy.
I mean, not the best in figures. I can tell like this weight on his head's like a pound. I feel like it, and then it goes falling off.
Well, it's cool they give you the double foot peg to get in there.
The feet completely move all over the place.
Yeah, see, I had a hell of a time earlier setting up my Watchmen figures because of they have 3 pegs on there for you to display the Watchmen figures on, but only 1 hole in each foot, on 1 foot.
And it's crazy because, like, when we were watching, like, Fairly Odd Parents was, like, the show. You know? It was, like, one of the big shows, Nickelodeon. Aside from SpongeBob, but, like, yeah.
I remember that was around the
That's
time
right.
my son was really into that show.
So there was other shows at the time like SpongeBob, Jimmy Neutron, and Fairy Odd Parents. So it was big at the time.
It's funny too. The guys I knew back in the wrestling days, they were looking for a gimmick, and the one kid was named Doug, another another guy was Nick.
Yeah.
So I was like, you guys should come out. Do you remember the Orange Couch?
Yeah.
And they had the Saturday Night Nick. It was called Snick for
Yes.
Saturday Night Nick.
Exactly.
I was like, that should be your gimmick. You could be Doug from the Doug cartoon, and you could be Snick, and your catchphrase could be, "Are you afraid of the dark?" Because that show was on.
Yeah. Perfect.
Put that in the box of failed gimmicks. They didn't like it.
Yeah. Wow.
It's a run as a figure collector. Kind of bothers you more in the packaging. You don't know what else is going to be released. Because I have no recollection of seeing these in stores.
If I do, I don't recall it.
It even hurts more when I saw it for $5 at a shop, and the guy's always been here for about a year now. I'm like, oh.
Well, at least you got it.
Yeah.
You like having this where it lets you know what else is on there. That's one thing I like about packaging is letting you know, because as a kid, you get a figure and go, oh man, I want to get this, 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 and this. Or if you bought a vehicle, it would come with a booklet, like here's everything that's coming out. But it seems like they've gotten away from stuff like that.
It's kind of a throwback too to the Galoob. Like there was a UK exclusive back in the day.
That someone like me didn't know about. the Remco AWA figures. It wasn't until years. I mean, I think I'd already was a homeowner before I realized there was the Midnight Rockers, the Boris Zukov.
And are you a fan of the exclusives like now, like AEW's doing UK exclusives?
I'm only a fan of exclusives if A, you can get them for a reasonable price, and B, if they're just available, period. I was actually posting about this on another YouTube channel about the Star Trek figures from, I think it was Playmates. That was a line that made everything.
Oh, yeah.
Then they started with the serial numbered figures. They did a 1701, which was the Colleges of Enterprise. So there's only 1,701 pieces made. So if you didn't get one, you had to pay through the nose for them. Then they started doing, we're having a Star Trek convention here in Columbus, Ohio, so we're doing a piece just for that. Well, I live in California. I'm not going to go to Columbus, Ohio to get this thing. And this was before the internet. This was before eBay. This is before, like, I could go into a story about how deep I went to get action figures, but I'm a weirdo. I mean, I'm a grown man hosting a room in a room full of toys, talking about this. So I'm the big exception to the rule. But they made some exclusives for these figures.
For the Jax UFC.
When I had this entire run, another one of the runs I collected and sold off, and I had to talk to a friend named Rick in Japan that got me a Randy Couture. I think it was a Chuck Liddell 2-pack, which sells for a lot of money. And whoever the guy is that came here and bought my entire collection from you, you're welcome, because you're even getting married at the time, and your chick came and bought all that stuff for you. And I gave her a deal because I felt bad, because I know how much weddings cost, and I knew how hard it was going to be being married, so I did that for you. So now we got this John Jones pop. This is actually one I almost bought because I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
you want to open this up? You do the honors. Yeah. But another thing I want to talk about Jax. How do you feel like it was kind of, when these were coming out the UFC, it was kind of like the dying days of Being Pacific.
Yeah.
They were trying to get licenses from TNA, and then UFC was there.
Yeah. The WWE license is it can either make or break you, and I think the thing that hurt the UFC Jax line at the time was star power.
Yeah.
It was right before John Jones and Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor, these big stars. I mean, your biggest name at the time that was your household name was probably Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And when your number one name is known for something he did elsewhere, I mean, secondary had to be Kimbo Slice.
Yeah.
When those are your two biggest names, and one of them is a really, really horrible fighter.
Yeah.
And then it's like, too, you're trying to, if you're a line that's trying to appeal to kids, how many kids do you know when you have people over the house watching UFC and stuff? How many kids are there?
Yeah.
It's, this was actually like the shining example of an adult collector type thing. Right, so we got the John Jones out of the package. How do you guys feel about Pops?
As a collector, you're saying, it's coming to a point where people are collecting just to resell. With the chases and all these unlimited Hot Topic exclusives, almost every store has like exclusive at this point. Hallmark, Barnes and Nobles has an exclusive. So it's kind of getting to the point that I'm not a fan of anymore. It's getting difficult to find these pretty much everywhere. And yeah, I'm not gonna pay $100 for a Funko Pop.
$100? I remember when the Willy Wonka set came out.
Yeah.
There were some exclusive Willy Wonkas that they made that were thousands and thousands of dollars. And I was like, I like Willy Wonka, but not that much. I legitimately have to win a golden ticket just to get one of those things. So, thank you guys for coming on the show and bringing this stuff and opening it up. So, where can everybody find you guys?
So you can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spreaker to listen to all our episodes, and also on YouTube. We got all our interviews, videos, in our YouTube channel. And and also follow us on Instagram on Chip Online to get the latest news on new episodes.
Anything you want to add to this?
Pretty much it. He said it all.
So I want to thank you guys for joining us. Thank you too for coming in and bringing me. Maybe I can get those. I can finally make it over the 40 view mark. I had to bring these guys in to help me get there. I want to thank you guys, and remember, this is a hobby. Let's keep it like that. Let's not try to make this into a business. Everyone needs that little break from reality, a little bit of something to look forward to. So that's it. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you for joining us on Mint Out of the Box, and we'll see you next Monday.